Good morning, my name is Paula Pérez. I'm coming from the Department of Ethology in ALTE, and we're going to talk today about animals' communication towards humans. As a short introduction, let's start by defining referential communication. Referential communication occurs when a signaler attempts to direct the attention of another individual to a desired out-of-reach goal, thus informing the receiver about his or her intention. Let's see it in an example. Imagine that there is an animal and he is facing So, what do we know until now about referential communication between animals and humans? As we said, dogs can perform different referential communicative behaviors towards humans in several contexts, but not only dogs. Also, horses and goats have been found to perform similar referential communicative behaviors as family dogs in similar contexts, but until now, no research has compared directly the behavior of these animals with the family dog. This is why our aim was to test the emergence of communicative referential behaviors in another social domestic species, the family pig, and compare those directly with the behaviors of family dogs by keeping the socialization background of both species very similar. And this is not going to be the first time in which we compare the behavior of family dogs with the behavior of family pigs. Previously, we have compared them in an unsolvable task paradigm. What we got is that dogs communicate more with humans when they face an unsolvable task paradigm, meanwhile pigs communicate less but persisted more in trying to solve the task by their own, being more goal-oriented. The aim of the current project was to investigate whether this species difference that we found in our previous study was still present in an out-of-reach reward context, in which the animals didn't have to solve any kind of task. So, like this, we could also assess the emergence of any referential communicative behaviors towards humans in family pigs. And we could go on knowing more about how pigs communicate with humans and how different they are from family dogs. We tested 11 family pigs and 12 family dogs of around 10 months old. All of the subjects were exposed to similar socialization with humans. The lab setting was like this, as you're seeing in the screen. We had these two black boxes, which were two possible hiding locations. We had to make the setting suitable for pigs. This is why the hiding locations were on the ground level, because due to anatomic constraints, pigs cannot really look up. I'm saying this because this special setting for our study might have some interference in our results, as I will explain later. The procedure was based in McCloskey 2000 showing behavior paper. We had three test conditions which were exposed to the animals in random order. Two control conditions, an owner alone condition without food, and a food alone condition without owner. And then we had a food and owner condition in which both the owner and the food were present in the room. Here we observe the human and target oriented behaviors and the alternations among the target and the human. Into the conditions. First of all, we have a food alone condition. The animal and the owner are inside of the room. Then the owner leaves, and the experimenter enters and hides food in one of the locations. The experimenter leaves, and the subject is alone with the food in the room for 1 minute. Secondly, we have an owner condition. The owner and the subject are inside of the room. Then the owner leaves, and the experimenter enters and pets the subject without any kind of food involved. Then the experimenter leaves, and the owner enters again. For 1 minute, both the owner and the animal are inside of the room without any food involved. And the last condition is the food and owner condition, the actual test condition. The owner and the subject are inside, then the owner leaves and the experimenter hides food in one of the locations without the owner knowing in which one. Then the owner enters and both the owner and the animal are inside of the room for 1 minute with the food. Let's have a look now into our results. In all the graphs, you will see always in the x-axis the different conditions. In this case, the owner and the food and owner condition. For the species, dogs will be in blue and pigs will be in green. Here I'm showing the owner orientation, so the time that the animal spent oriented towards the owner. For in that, we got an species effect, meaning that dogs orient more towards the owner than pigs, especially in the food and owner condition. So what happened in case of the orientation alternation? So the alternation between the human and the desired food reward. What we got was a condition effect. The presence of both the owner and the food triggers this behavior in dogs, and they perform it more than pigs. So the expected referential communicative behavior was mainly present in dogs. Let's have a quick look now into the food orientation, so the time that the animal spent it oriented towards the food location. For this, we also wanted to compare the owner condition with the other two. As you might remember, during the owner condition there was no food present, but even like this, we wanted to compare any kind of orientation to any of the empty boxes with the orientation towards the food location in the other two conditions. So let's have a look at what we got. First of all, dogs orient more towards the box when both the owner and the food are present, so they were more target-oriented during the food and owner condition. In the case of pigs, we found the opposite. Pigs orient less towards the box when there is no food present. And finally, when we compare dogs and pigs, what we found is that in the presence of food, pigs orient towards it more than dogs, being then much more food-oriented and goal-oriented than dogs. And the take-home message is: so first of all, and similarly to our previous experiment, species-specific differences seem more important than the experience we referentially communicate with humans. Although our subject had a very similar human socialization background, it seems that species characteristics are more important for successfully engaged in human interactions. As I explained during the methods, our specific setting features might have affected the motivational state of the pigs. So, as the food was on a ground level, this might have triggered this really food orientation of the pigs, because as we know, pigs are highly food oriented. And as a summary, pigs' more independent behavior than that of dogs might be the result of different selection pressure during domestication. Thanks for your attention.